So are you trying to do this? Start your downswing with your hips. But no matter how hard you try, you cannot do that. You can't get that lower body starting first. Maybe you think you're really immobile, not athletic enough, or maybe too old to do it. That's complete nonsense. You can absolutely do it, because what I see with golfers every single day in lessons of why they can't start their downswing with their hips is because of things they're doing in their golf swing. So I'm going to get into 3 main reasons of what is stopping you from starting the downswing with your hips. So let's get straight into the first one. So the first one here, this is something that so many golfers are trying to physically do in their swing, or I'd say more in their setup, which is destroying your swing on so many fronts, especially with starting the downswing with your hips, and that is your grip. Your grip is too strong, way too strong. So this is something that so many amateur golfers are trying to do, and in so many areas, like we said, it just destroys you. So if you're setting up to the golf ball and you've got all 4 fingers showing here, so really strong in that left hand and the right hand underneath to where the line between thumb and the meat of the hand is pointing outside the right shoulder there. So many golfers are either told to do this or do this on purpose. One, because they feel like, of course, if you've got a strong grip, you've got to rotate really hard to be able to hit that to target. Way too much rotation than so many golfers can actually do. But also a lot of golfers who suffer with that over the top slice, they think, okay, let me just strengthen that grip and that'll fix it. It will fix the club face portion, but not the club path portion. You need to be able to fix the slice properly. But of course, for starting the downswing with the lower body first, why does a strong grip stop you from doing that? Because when I have got a strong grip, what does it do? It closes off the club face. So if I have an ideal movement in a downswing, get lower body moving first, upper body follows, club falls on path. I've just got to the golf ball now. The club face is horrendously closed. So unless our name is Dustin Johnson and we've got Dustin Johnson's level of club head speed, then I might need to be able to rotate hard enough and fast enough to where then I can get so much shaft lean, which will then open the face. Shaft lean's needed for a very strong grip, but you need a ton of club head speed to generate enough ball speed with so much shaft lean to get the ball up into the air sufficiently. If you've got a slow club head speed, or I'd say a normal club head speed, so let's say with driver, for example, south of 120, you're not going to get height enough on your shot to hit that ball any far with that real length forward position, which is what you would need to match up that strong grip. How many golfers on the planet can do that is so unbelievably small. So that's where what a golfer will do, they will start by standing their body up. So this is where they'll start their downswing with the pelvis going forward. That causes the upper body to go back, the spine extending, which of course is not starting with your lower body. That's starting via thrusting towards the ball. So when that body then gets taller, extends through the shot, that moves the hands more up, that then opens up the club face, in our case, squares it to go to target. So a lot of golfers have the best intentions with having that grip strong, but their body can't physically do and rotate enough like Dustin Johnson to make that work. So they'll just have that nasty early extension swing. They won't be starting with their lower body at all. They'll be hitting the ball absolutely terribly. So that's where our fix for that, which is just going to make life so much easier, is get that grip nice and standard. So make sure when you're looking down at that left hand, you're seeing 2.5 knuckles. And with your right hand there, we don't want it underneath. We want that line between thumb and the meat of the hand pointing towards right armpit. That's where we want it. Because if we can get up to the top and that club face is nice, lovely and square, then you have the option to be able to separate that lower body and mid-torso first. And then we're going to get that club falling on path way better, and you can stay in posture. Club face is going to stay square. You don't need to stand up coming through the shot. So get that better grip. That's going to make it able, you're going to be unlocking the door for you to then open that door and walk through, which is then, of course, getting yourself to get that lower body starting first. So number 2, your hips are rotating too early in the backswing. So I see so many amateur golfers do this. They'll take the club back and their hips immediately will rotate to their full hip rotational capability, their capacity that they can turn their hips in the takeaway or even by mid backswing. So if you get to, let's say, mid backswing for our example here, you rotate into mid backswing, your hips are fully rotated. They can't rotate anymore. Range of motion, done. So what a golfer would do from there, they've got no more rotational movement left of their hips. So they're just going to raise the arms up to complete the swing. They'll end up getting what we call a little bit of fake turn as they keep moving, where it looks like their shoulders are turning, but it's actually just their arms moving more back, pulling their shoulders more around, fake turn. But then of course, their hips have laid dormant for half the backswing. So when they start the downswing there, they're not just going to then fire the hips up, they've been sleeping for half that backswing. So what hasn't been sleeping for half that backswing is the arms. If the arms are in motion, they're going to continue to be in motion. Inertia, whatever is in motion will stay in motion. That definitely applies to that top of the backswing in transition. Arms continue to go, hips are sleeping, and then from there, because the arms were completing that backswing, they're going to start that downswing there. The hips aren't going to wake up in time, and then you're not going to be able to start it with your hips. I see this with so many golfers, so many. They just cannot get that lower body to turn. They're thinking, why can't I do it? I do so many drills, I just can't get them to open up. It's because their hips have opened up way too early in the backswing, run out of range of motion. They're not going to wake up in transition. So this can be fixed super quick. That's just great if that's your problem. So that's where what you need to do is have good backswing rotational sequencing of the lower body. So that's where I love to see for players, because this makes life easier, is in the takeaway, so with their shaft parallel to the ground, for our fix here, have no hip turn in that first part. We certainly do want hip turn in the backswing, just not in the takeaway. So if we can then turn the hips up to the top from there, then absolutely that's going to get us to where we have completed our backswing with our hips. And of course, our hips were in motion, so they're going to want to stay in motion then you can start to get them separating in transition. You're not completing the backswing with your arms, you're completing the backswing with that hip turn. As soon as those hips finish their turn, that's the backswing done, then they're going to find it way easier to start to separate. So our drill that you can do, again, we're going to have a great drill at the end of this video just to get the separation feeling, but we need our swing to be in the environment, of course, to do so. This one is one very big part of this. So get an alignment stick, put it through the belt loops. Here we go. So what I want you to see from there is make sure that as you're turning back, so you can see a tiny bit on the right, lots on the left, get into takeaway position, no turn of the hips. So that's where that stick isn't moving. And then as you go halfway to the golf ball, we'll get up to the golf ball there, the stick moves halfway to it. So you turn up to the top from there, the stick goes halfway to the ball. So nothing takeaway, then halfway to the ball. That's your top of the backswing. And then, of course, with this stick drill, you can then think, okay, I want this to disappear around me to start that downswing. Really disappear. So let me move this back because this is going to get caught in my netting here. As you can see, very cold, icy day today. So hopefully I don't slip over hitting this ball. So here we go. Nothing to take away. Turn it halfway to the golf ball and then get the stick disappearing around me. If I can do that, I'm going to be way better off to get the hips to start that downswing. There we go. And there we go. So that's your problem. Rep that out. Have a look at your golf swing. See if you're doing that. And that will explain a lot of why you can't turn and start the downswing with your hips. So the third reason of why you can't start the downswing with your lower body is because your upper body is just moving too fast in transition. So this is where you might have all those pieces. You might have the good grip. You might have the good rotational sequencing in the backswing of the hips. But then you get to start that downswing and you're too eager to get to that ball. So your upper body, whoosh, really fires too much first. The rotation of that upper body is way too fast. Normally for golfers, that means quite an over the top out to win swing. So, of course, if your upper body's going first, this certainly isn't, the lower body isn't. Even if they go at the same time, that's going to force the club to move out in front. You're not going to get that good benefit of the lower body separating for that good power, that good rotation, good effortless nature of the golf swing, like we see the top pros. So we need this, the hips, to have time in transition. Time is so key. You might have seen other YouTube videos talk about, with some great coaches out there, talk about how time is so important to get the hips to start that downswing. And it's completely, absolutely right. So when we get up to the top, we need the upper body and arms to stay here, to feel like they're staying here, because then that gives time for the lower body to unwind. It's very rare that you ever need to speed your hips up. You more often need to calm your upper body down. So that's where, if we can get that upper body and the arms staying nice and quiet at the top and turning, trying that downswing, the hips will naturally want to unwind if we've got the other points in there as well. So a good little feel of a fix for this Again, not really a drill to do, the drill is the feel. And that is making sure the upper body, so the middle of my chest here, is pointing at you for as long as you can in the downswing. So especially if you're a guy who really throws it out. So this feels very much for these people who really do have that upper body rotate too quickly. So all these points might not be for every single person. So have this upper body point at, let's say, a camera behind, or like one of your buddies standing behind you for as long as you can. And that is going to make sure that your upper body isn't going to be out racing your lower body. Then you're going to have more time for that lower body to unwind and start to turn. So make sure that this is quiet so this can ramp up. The great, really good drill for especially this time of year, winter time, as you can see, to work on the separation of that lower body in transition, getting this the feeling of those hips leading. And even though I said it's great for winter time, it's good for all year round. It's just even more so if you're stuck inside, for example. And I'll tell you what, I'd love to be inside right now. It's quite cold. So, but again, we've got to improve you. So we've got to be out here. We've got to go for it. So, okay, get your stick again, put it through your belt loops here, just like so. So this is where now, just like with that second one, we have it coming out on the right, loads on the left, tiny bit on the right. Now we've got loads of it coming out on the right, so it's equal on either sides. Grab another stick, put it across your shoulders. So now we get up to the top, so you can get your nice gradual hip rotation, not doing it too much too early. So nice and gradual, all the way up to the top. And then what I want you to do is now, as you're starting that downswing, get that lower body going. And then as you get to around kind of just before where impact would be, get this stick that's on the right-hand side of your chest there, along your shoulders, to touch the stick coming down. So there we go. So go up to the top. So now you can really practice that good separation. So then as we start down, the lower body goes, you can see, look at my upper body, it's staying very quiet. And then as you're getting through to that mid downswing, then fire that upper body through, and that's then going to get that stick to touch the stick that's through your belt loops. Because if, let's say you do too much too early with your hips again, you rotate them too early, and as you start, it's going to be so hard to do that. And then of course, if we do that third point, we get up to the top and now the upper body goes too quickly, I'm not going to make contact with that stick in the belt loops. So again, up to the top, there we go. Up to the top, boom. That's going to be great. So that's where you could work on, in my opinion, the most important part of the swing, which is transition. The saying of, impact is king is no longer a saying in golf instruction. You'll see a lot of golf instructors out there, especially, let's say, golf instructors who have made videos over the last couple of years or so, let's say on YouTube or just from online. Not many of them are saying that you have to be in a perfect impact position anymore, because what is one of the biggest influences to getting a good impact is how you start that downswing. Having a good transition is so key. Now, here's the thing. Not all of you are going to be able to separate, extremely well. Again, older guys out there might not be able to separate quite as much, but we can all get that lower body working a little bit. That's where everyone will be able to do this, maybe to different degrees, but even if you just start that downswing a little bit with that lower body, again, that's going to have huge benefits on your game. So let's say we've done that drill, and now, okay, let's get that same feel into the golf ball. There we go. So you can really then transfer it if you've got a way to hit balls through the winter time as well. But if you're watching this even in the summer, it's a good practice routine to do. So make sure these three areas are in your swing. Don't grip it too strong. Make sure your backswing rotational sequencing, that's a tongue twister that is. Make sure that's in a good spot with the lower body, and make sure you're starting the downswing by keeping this quiet. So chest nice and quiet to give the hips time. Then that good little drill will do you good. So you have to have the right things in your golf swing. That's why you can't rotate with your lower body to start that downswing first, because there's stuff wrong with your golf swing that's preventing you from doing it. So again, guys, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction just like this, hit the subscribe button and hit that bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.